Hi, I'm Kurt Smith, and welcome to App Talks, a series of conversations with Salesforce customers on how using business apps from the AppExchange can help you manage all aspects of your business. I'm here today with Craig Eiter from Thomson Reuters to talk about how Thomson Reuters is using Salesforce and Apttus CPQ to transform their sales process. Welcome to App Talks, Craig.
Yeah, thank you, Kurt.
So tell me about Thomson Reuters.
Thomson Reuters is a $12 billion global company. We have three divisions. We have a finance and risk division headquartered in New York City. We have a tax division headquartered in Texas. And we have a legal division headquartered in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is where I work.
And what is your role there?
So my role is to lead the Salesforce ecosystem for legal division. In legal, we have $3.4 billion of revenue. We have over 20,000 online products and services, and we have over 4,000 sales professionals that use the Salesforce ecosystem.
So take me back to the situation, the challenges that your sales teams were facing that led you to start looking for a CPQ solution.
Yeah, great question, Kurt. It starts with our customer, really. So we know historically our number one customer complaint has been billing. And while that sounds mundane, we believe that an effective CPQ solution would allow us to reduce our customer friction in terms of billing.
And how did you go about selecting a solution, a CPQ solution?
We evaluated 8 CPQ vendors, and we went through a pretty rigorous process to down select and choose Apttus CPQ. Really where we started was we looked at some basic workflows, and we got down to 3 finalists, if you will. And one of the things we did early on then in this evaluation process was for those 3 finalists, we said, here are 6 basic workflows that a sales professional has to do. Think sell a new product, cross-sell or upsell, lapse a product, basic workflows. And we sent these 6 workflows to those 3 providers, and we said, come in to our office and show us live, right, how your product would satisfy these basic workflows. We gave them those basic workflows 48 hours in advance.
That's awesome.
Of when they were scheduled to be in the office, and we did that intentionally. So they each had a 48-hour window to design and build and then play back to us, right, how their product and service would satisfy those basic workflows. In that process, it was pretty amazing. One of the 3 basically came in and said, we couldn't do that in such a short window, but our basic demonstrations satisfy 80 or 90% of what you're looking for. Our evaluation team looked around the table at each other, and they were out. On the final 2 vendors, of which obviously Apttus CPQ was one of them, they basically came in and showed us quickly how those 6 basic workflows are satisfied. What we learned in that was how much would be out of the box, right? Because we wanted to customize as little as possible for obvious reasons. And then what we did was we took the 2 finalists then that satisfied those 6 basic workflows the best, and we actually went into their environments and put in products, put in pricing, put in business rules. We had our evaluation team, which included sales reps, basically look at some of the workflows, and then we made our decision from there.
Did you use any other scorecards or any other important parts of the business that you used to measure each of these vendors against each other?
We actually had 3 scorecards, and we created each one uniquely for this CPQ process. We had a business scorecard for our sales professionals. And so from day one, the sales professional user experience was first and foremost in our mind. And we had a lot of criteria underneath that business scorecard, but that was basically the gist of it. How easy would it be for a sales professional to use this tool? The second scorecard that we had was a technical scorecard. And the technical scorecard is really around an architectural consideration from how we conduct business. Would it be effective and would it be efficient to plug into our Salesforce ecosystem, not just today, but also 3 and 5 years down the road? So that was the technical scorecard. Our third scorecard is probably an obvious one, but it's a financial scorecard. But what I want to point out there is it's more than just the licensing costs and the implementation costs per se. It's really, as you think about this as a tool within your Salesforce ecosystem, how easy would it be to maintain, develop, and enhance into the coming years. So we were really looking at a strategic partnership. So those were our 3 scorecards.
So you had the scorecards, you did the 48-hour test, you did the sandbox test. Why Apttus?
Yeah, so basically Apttus won each scorecard, right, individually, and then obviously collectively when we put them together, Apttus was the right choice. We feel that Apttus, we were betting at that time, and we know now that Apttus is the best enterprise solution, because even though we want to be simple about how we go to market and make it simple for our customers to do business with us, we have a phrase that we call easy to do business with in our customer experience surveys. So we want it to be easy to do business with, we want it to be simple for our sales professionals to use, and then we want to be able to administer and configure it behind the scenes with multiple internal colleagues like finance and legal and product. And so Apttus won all 3 of those scorecards, and we believe Apttus fills the bill in terms of being simple on a go-forward basis.
So, you've selected Apttus, and now you have to start the implementation. Can you tell me how you guys started that process?
Yeah, our implementation process, we basically had 2 phases. And the first was an early adopter program, and the second was full launch. So from an early adopter program, what we wanted to do before the full launch for 1,200 sellers, right, a subset of our 4,400 users, right, because we're bringing this Apttus CPQ solution to the rest of them literally right now as we speak. But we didn't just want to have a big bang, if you will, at launch. So our early adopter program was critical. And what it proved to us was that 3 months before the full launch, we had 40 sales reps using Apttus CPQ in the marketplace. So they were pulling down products, they were dynamically assembling bundles, they were pricing them properly, they were putting in the right contract terms and conditions, and clients were indeed electronically signing them and sending them back to us. So we proved that the system worked all the way through contract and order acceptance. So that process really gave us confidence that when we rolled it out to all 1,200 sellers that it was work. So that's the first thing that we did. The second thing that we did that I think was really important was we had those early adopter sales reps, those 40 sales reps, part of our entire design, build, and implementation process from day one. So they were at the table with us while we were designing workflows, while we had technical people in the room talking about how we would build them. And then every 2 weeks we would have a sprint because we did this project in an agile-like methodology. And the conclusion of a sprint is actually the technical people play back the workflows. And so we had sales reps in the room observing and speaking into the processes that they were seeing, and they gave us feedback that we then built into both the early adopter final product and then the final product that was launched to all 1,200 sellers.
That's awesome. That obviously made a huge difference, having the end users there in that whole process. So they're part of that process. How did they also help you then roll it out, and how did you roll it out?
Yeah, so we rolled out for the full 1,200 people with a couple of key concepts. One was we actually had, we designed and built learning modules so that between the early adopter launch and our full launch, we had all 1,200 sales reps go through and actually pull down products, dynamically assemble bundles, price them, put the right contract terms and conditions in, and then send it to clients. And so we knew that every sales rep could do that because we had them certify it through an online learning module. And that was really important so that when we launched it, we weren't training how to use the tool. We knew they already did, and so we designed some exercises that were fun and gamified that allowed us to kind of like build some momentum and enthusiasm and not really train on the basic keystrokes, because that keystroke training happened between early adopter and full launch.
So what was the impact that you saw on your business?
Yeah, so in the first 4 to 5 months, we've seen tremendous feedback, and I'll just talk about 2 main areas. The first one is from customers. So with the first 1,200 customers that purchased our products and services through Apttus CPQ, we did an ad hoc customer experience survey. And so we asked them basically, how easy are we to do business with? The results from that survey were outstanding, and here's an example. So we do customer experience surveys regularly, and so we know our legacy net promoter score like responses. On a 1 to 10 scale, they're the 9s and 10s. We know what that is. For these first 1,200 customers, that Net Promoter Score, dark green, the 9s and 10s, was 3 times higher than our legacy.
Wow.
So our customers responded overwhelmingly positive in terms of being able to contract and do business with us this way. From our sales professionals' perspective, the feedback we got unsolicited were quotes to our sales ops folks, and they were basically, "I love order capture." And somebody actually screamed that into their phone driving down the road. And so we took that quote. Another direct quote is, "You're saving me at least 2 hours per week with this new order capture solution." And so the feedback from our customers and from our sales professionals was really overwhelming.
So the 2 hours a week is really interesting because it doesn't seem like it's a huge amount, but when you go ahead and gameplay it all the way out, it's a lot. Has that helped salespeople even close business faster because they have more time?
Yeah, great point, Kurt, because we've heard several things, including I'm able to sit down with the client, have a conversation, understand their needs, and then dynamically assemble the bundle in their office, face-to-face in the conversation, and send that quote and proposal to the client, and they real-time pull down their email and they send their signature back to me. And so we've gotten real-time feedback from sales reps that they've done one-call closes, and it's overwhelming.
That's fantastic. Can you give me a couple metrics, just some numbers on the impact?
Yeah, with Apttus CPQ, we've seen dramatic results. We've seen 70% fewer held orders, which obviously helps sales reps and customers. We've seen 55% fewer exceptions. And An exception is when a sales rep has to ask for pricing or product configuration that's outside the norm. So 55% fewer exceptions means speed to market and accuracy. And we've also seen a 50% reduction in our sellable products. So we know that we're simplifying the business in meaningful ways.
Craig, one of the things we like to do on App Talks is always end with some peer-to-peer advice. So if I was in charge of sales enablement at a company and I was looking for a CPQ solution, what advice would you give me?
Yeah, I'll give you 3 points that I think are relevant. The first one is have your strategy sound, right? And our strategy was very clear, and we talk about it regularly even today. The first thing is the customer experience has to be improved. We have to be easier to do business with, and reducing this billing friction would be a great win for us. And so we had that in the lens from day one. The second part of our strategy was sales professional experience. The UX has to be simple. The process to go from lead to order and contract has to be simple. That was in our lens from day one. And then the third thing is we knew we had to simplify our business because there's too many rules, too many products, too many permutations. Sales professionals and customers just couldn't understand how to do business together. So strategically, that's what I would say would be the first thing. Have your strategy sound and stay true to it. The second thing is, I think it was really critical to have sales reps involved from day one. And the reason is very obvious, but I'll say it anyway. It's that having the people that have to use the tool participate and speak into the workflows and the ultimate end product did a couple of things that were really important. Number one, it made sure that what we rolled out worked.
Yeah.
And number two, we had instant credibility when we were training to the tool because they knew the sales reps that were in the early adopter program were part of the design and development process since day one. So those 2 things were really, really important. And then the third thing I would say is the evaluation criteria, the scorecards. And they were really representations of our strategy, but having a business scorecard, a technical scorecard, and a finance scorecard, and rolling those out through this really short window of demonstrating basic workflows was really important. So I would say stay true to your strategy, have sales reps involved from day one, and then have a crisp evaluation process.
Thanks very much for being here, Craig. I really enjoyed speaking with you. That was great advice. And thank you for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you on the next App Talks.